Good looking now, G.
You're very precious. Please.
Hello everyone, welcome to The Hype. As you may know, there are many levels of influence in our society, and the media plays a major role in displaying influential images to us. Media comes in many forms: television, radio, newspapers, movies, and advertisements. It is easy for us to overlook the impact that the culture has on how we feel about ourselves and our society. And today we're going to be talking about how one of the main groups that is misrepresented in mass media is women. The pressure on women to look and to behave a certain way is deeply engraved into our culture. Joining us for today's discussion is Ursula Rucker and Asia of Kindred The Family Soul. Stay tuned, The Hype begins right after this.
I'm Al Butler from 900 AM WURD.
I'm Charisma McElwain from the CW Philly.
Hey, what's up? This is Kyla Pratt.
Hey, what's up? I'm O'Shea Loren from 100.3 WRNB, and you are watching The Hype.
You're watching The Hype.
And you're watching The Hype.
Calling all music artists from around the world, here's your opportunity to have your music featured on The Hype. We are looking for respectful hip-hop artists, R&B, soul, pop, dance, rock, and inspirational. All you have to do is send us 6 songs in MP3 format, 6 professional pictures, 1 music video if you have one, and a bio of the artist or group. For more info, visit clayphilly.com. If you're an African-American girl between the ages of 14 and 18 and you'd like to participate in our workshops, please visit our website on the screen. You're watching The Hype, TV for, by, and about young women on Comcast Channel 66, Philly Cam.
Make sure you guys give love to our DJ 007, spitting music from local Philly artists. Today's Hype Squad includes my co-host LaToya and Miss Courtney, who will be taking questions from the audience. But now we're joined with my guest here, Miss Ursula Rucker and Asia of Kindred The Family. So how are you ladies?
Fantastic.
Awesome, awesome. So tell me about yourselves, how you got into your profession. We'll let you go first.
Oh, well, I mean, just really writing in journals is kind of how I started writing poetry, and then getting with a dear friend of mine, King Britt, who's a local but worldwide known DJ and producer, and recording my first poem to music so many years ago. I don't have to say how many, do I?
No. We won't go there.
And yeah, just starting there, and now I have 5 albums of my own and countless collaborations, and just keep doing it.
You just keep doing it. And you, how about yourself?
Well, I got started myself as a vocalist when I was 14. She's about the same age as some of the women and young ladies you have here. And started out doing that. I had a record deal and was doing music, as a teenager throughout my teenage years, and eventually moved on and fell in love and met a wonderful man and started a singing group with him. And we got married too. That's I don't want to leave that part out. And we started a group together called Kindred The Family Soul, and we've been doing that for the last 10 or 11 years, or give or take. And we'll be coming up on 15 years of marriage this September.
Congratulations.
And thank you. And working on our 5th studio album. And that's a story in a nutshell.
Okay.
Well, I see that you started so early, like 14, 15. So how did growing up watching music artists perform on TV, whether it be in magazines and different images in the media, how did you feel that change, or watching it made you alter your image? Did that alter your image in any way by seeing those women on TV or in the media?
Actually, no. I think I was lucky because I was really influenced first and foremost by my mother's music. Okay. So there were a lot of records in my house. So I was influenced by Gladys Knight and Dionne Warwick and Aretha Franklin, and they never dropped it like it was hot or anything. So
right.
of pressure in that way. But when I got to be a preteen, I also lucked up again because some of the more current artists were artists who really were influenced also by those great records. And there were a lot of teenage girls coming out at the time. I mean, at the time that I was 12, 13, 14 years old was a time when Brandy and Aaliyah and several other young women were doing music, and their image was very clean. They definitely had a sense of self that they expressed, and I just really wanted to be like them. And so when I got into the business, I just happened to be exposed to a lot of really positive images. Now I think it might be a little harder, but slightly harder as a young woman to not have those kinds of images. But I never really felt any pressure about that. In fact, it was the opposite. I was a tall girl for 14. I was very developed. So they kind of tried to put like overalls on me, and they tried to take my sexuality down a notch. So I really didn't have that issue, which obviously was easy coming into what I do now.
Right, okay. So how do you feel? Do you feel that the media has an effect on the way teens portray themselves, or how they feel about themselves, their self-esteem, and the actions that they do? Why or why not?
Oh, absolutely, most definitely. I think, well, first of all, we don't see enough of ourselves in terms of Black, brown people in movies, and definitely don't see enough of us in positive light on the 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock, 11 o'clock, midnight news.
All types of news.
And then if we're going to talk about music videos, well,
let's talk about it.
Yeah. I would say, that even in the 80s, when, and I could talk about the 80s, I'm just saying. I won't tell you how old I am.
I can talk about the 80s, and I was born in the 80s, so.
So, when videos were really, really coming into the forefront, we just couldn't wait to see the video for the song. And I would say even in the late 80s and early 90s, I was already getting sick of seeing women portrayed in a certain way in music videos. And I think I just have a radar for that. But I mean, now, it's way, way beyond something that's acceptable for me, and I'm so sick of it. And I think it really, I see if you go around the city, if you go around our fair city, and you see some of the young women, in your neighborhoods, and just pay attention and just kind of look at their movements and talk to them, okay, more importantly, and see where their head is at and what things are important to them, well, you can kind of surmise how much of a negative effect all of these not so cool images of them, and what they think they have to live up to, what they think they have to, kind of like rise up to, is not really anything to rise up to in the first place. And it's like, not really conducive to self-respect and kind of self-nurturing and getting yourself into a place where you're just proud and excited to be a woman and not, have to look a certain way, not have to dress a certain way, or, kind of live up to these negative images, which become the images
Yeah.
to.
I mean, one thing I'd like to interject too is what she said in the 80s, there were a lot of women who were actual trained dancers that used to be in music videos. So when you saw music videos, you can go on YouTube and look at videos from the early 90s, the late 80s, and you'll see choreography, where there's a lot of dancing. And so that was like the female image was very much into art at that time. There was a switchover. If for men, it switched from street culture to prison culture.
Right, it sure did.
For us, it switched from art culture to stripper culture. And so at that time, you know, the dancing moved from, you know, arabesque and releve and pas de bourrée and all of that, and, you know, and the Running Man, to a stripper style of dancing, which, you know, which has its place, but it began to be a more popular, and it became the, like she said, the standard.
So why do you think so many people care about amounting up to society's ideal images?
Well, I mean, that's a good question, but I mean, if you're obliterated and you're constantly fed this information and these images, and you're young and you're formidable, you know, and you're trying to find your place and your space in the world on your block, you know, and this is what you're being given, and this is what you're constantly being told: be like this, talk like this, look like this, you know, believe in this, support this, listen to this music, this is what you should be listening to. There's nothing else. There are no other choices, no other options for you, just this. And that's kind of how it's being boxed and presented. And so, like I said, if you're young, you know, and your mind is still being shaped and formed, well, then it's kind of easy to get at you and, you know, just tell you. And, you know, so you're coming up from there. And then by the time you're like 18, that's what's ingrained in you.
Do you feel that young women in particular, the types of pressure that they feel is going to have an effect on the type of relationship that they have?
Oh, yeah. For sure. I mean, if you have a song that's ultimately telling you, you may not have or partake of any of my wealth, and you must have everything on your own, and we must operate separate from one another at all times, and then you decide that you're going to get married and function in a situation that says that we are one, how can any person enter into that feeling all up to that point that everything is about them? How can you say to a woman as a man, you have to look like a stripper, but you got to be but you have to be only for me. You have to
Lady in the street, but a freak in the bed type stuff.
Like you have to be, but now you have to be a freak in the street too. You
right,
look like everybody else too.
That's so true.
That's a lot of the things that we feel. We feel like we have to do certain
we have
things.
to be everything, all things to everyone.
So we're going to be talking more about that when we think about how we women relate to what we see in the music and our self-esteem. But now we're going to stay tuned because we're going to hear some music from our local artists. We'll be right back after this.
My head, and if I was hungry, I'd take you instead. You know we speak with no talk.
Hey, what's up? Hey, appreciate you meeting me this early. You know, it's the anniversary, and me and the lady been trying to get out of this small apartment.
No problem. Got your closing documents for your house, your new key. I'm a man for team. And Kindred The Family Soul gonna hook you up for your anniversary.
Hey, nice to meet you, man. I know it's been rough. Keep making the magic happen.
Where we live, don't matter what kind of gift or what kind of ring you give, just don't take me for granted, and let me know every day that a love unconditionally is coming my way. 'Cause even if the world is falling apart all around us, let my love be a shelter, baby. that you came into my life the day you had my first seen. Sometimes I can't understand it. It remains mystery.
Welcome back. We are now going to get some questions from our studio audience, and Courtney's going to facilitate that. Hey, Courtney.
Hi, Jessica. Thank you. So we have Anaya here, and Anaya, what is your question?
My question is, when celebrities dress a certain way, why is it that children, like teens, think they have to dress the same way in order to fit in?
Well, I think a big issue with that is who it's being marketed to. I'm not gonna get on my, back in the day, everything was so perfect, because it really wasn't. But at the same time too, there was a time when adult things were marketed to adults, and that they were partaking in things that, were for them. Now you have a situation where if you have a woman who is scantily clad or is very, very sexy, the video is being played 9,000 times at 3 o'clock in the afternoon. The song is being played 1,000,000 times. They're selling products that young people buy. They're on the cover of magazines that young people purchase. So everything is about marketing that music and that image to young people. So they really don't have a choice. At the end of the day, they really didn't have a chance in hell. A chance in heck.
Yes.
to resist it. It is what it is.
All right, thank you. That's a great response, because teens see everything and react that way. We have Wonderful here, and Wonderful, what is your question?
My question is, why do teens think that just because a celebrity dresses a certain way that their personality fits that image too?
That's a great question.
Ponder.
I guess what people see first is that initial image is kind of what affects you first, and it's like, so if that's what you see all of the time, okay, and I'll use the most obvious, suspect, Nicki Minaj. So if you see Nicki Minaj all the time, and Nicki Minaj looks this way all of the time, and she speaks this way most of the time, and this is what she, puts forth, then what else could you assume? Because most likely you're not going to get to actually meet her and really find out, because perception is perception is frightening, because you're only basing it on a few things, so you never really know what the true story is. But if you're going to see this thing all of the time, and this is the way the person has chosen to present themselves to the whole entire world, then that's what you're going to believe about that person. If they want something else to be believed, then they should put something else for us.
Okay, awesome. All right, so now we're going to have you, Miss Ursula Rucker, perform for us. And now we're going to have you come on up and tell us what you're going to perform, and go for it.
Okay, I'm just going to stand right here.
All right, awesome.
Okay, so this is called She, and that's it. She is not only brilliant when she creates kitchen cornucopias and savory suppers from scratch and scraps and almost empty pockets and nothing. She is also brilliant when she creates life and sweet milk mills for new nestling mouths that depend on her to flourish and sprout. She is not your slave, servant, foot soldier, afterthought, or addendum. She is the queen, ruler, most highly praised warrior, patent, an original contract. Negotiate with her wisely and serve her well. She is not your constant gardener, dirt under her fingernails from replanting the flowers you trampled and uprooted. She is the soil, sun, and seed, spring and birth, everything you thought you never needed, then too late discovered that life was barren without her rainwater. She is not just your nasty, naughty fantasy, although if she so desired, she could be the best you ever thought you had, but never deserved. She is too often underrepresented, underadored, underserved, but most always resilient. She is not a dime a dozen. She is one in a million, as different as stars and snowflakes. She will never stand and be counted as you're abused, you're objectified, you're less than. She will stand and be counted. Her treasures are innumerable. She. Thank you.
Wow. write that poem?
Oh, well, I mean, kind of a lot of the reasons why we're here today talking about what we're talking about. I mean, just all of the things that women, young women, women in general are up against on this planet. How a lot of people say we've made strides, but it's, 2013, and aren't we so much better now? And don't we have so much more, respect and opportunities now? But there's still so much work to be done, and that's proven by what we're talking about today.
Thank you so much. That was beautiful. We have one more question from Courtney and audience member.
All right, thank you, Jessica. We have Tayana here, and what is your question?
My question was, why do young teens think if we dress less, we're beautiful, knowing that we don't have to?
Well, I think, I think really at the end of the day, it is important to take control of your own mind. That it's important to not draw your opinions from what someone is consistently showing you. And a way you can do that is decide and look around at what's being consistently shown to you. And if someone tells you, even down to the Oscars or anything that you see that you think is something that's that's impermeable to, some craziness, you look even when you look down to that, it's like if someone loses weight or they're skinny or their back is showing or their legs are showing, suddenly they look so much better than they did the year before. Suddenly somebody becomes so much more beautiful when it comes to their body type and how well they show it. And that happens, in the obvious places and the least obvious places. So it's important to just take control, and it starts with that. Looking at what's being shown to you and looking at it with a new eye. And if someone's consistently showing you the same thing over and over again, take some time to step back and question it.
Okay. And Ursula, if somebody was struggling with their own self-image, what would you say to them right now in regards to the media and everything? You have to say something to them.
Yes, I mean, wow, that's okay. How much time do I have?
You got about 30 seconds.
Okay. Whatever it takes, learn to love yourself. It's possible, it's doable, it's necessary, it's vital. And don't size yourself up against the images that you see in the magazine. It's all retouched, trust me.
Yeah.
What you see is not what you're actually seeing. And all that stuff on the videos and stuff, even that is not what you're actually seeing. And actually, when I talk to young men, that's not even what a lot of young men that I know, all different kinds of young men, actually want at the end of the day. It's what they want for a second, but it's not what they want long term. So work on yourself, as Asia was saying, and learn to love yourself and believe in yourself and value yourself and celebrate yourself regardless of all these other images.
I want to say amen. All right, thank you so much. Stay tuned, The Hype will return, but for now, please stay tuned for video content, The Hype Scenario, and we'll be right back after this.
I just want to ask a question. Where would I be if I didn't know you?
Have you ever been the reason why your relationship didn't work?
Yes, I have.
Okay, why? How's that?
Temptation. Temptation is crazy. Cheating. Oh, a few times. Not cheerleading, just a few times though. Because I play basketball, I get a lot of things.
You get a lot of attention?
Yeah.
And so you take
sometimes. No, I don't. I turned over a new leaf.
You turned over a new leaf. Okay. Thank you, Brent.
Thank you. Thank you. Have a nice day.
Ursula, have you ever been the reason why your relationship didn't work?
Yes.
How so?
Maybe because I wasn't flexible with the person's schedule or how they felt.
Have you ever been the reason why a relationship didn't work?
Yes. The reason being I'm a strong-willed person, and the other side, they've been more introverted people, and they weren't as outgoing as I am. And really, they just saw that maybe I was intimidating towards them and may have been either shy, jealous, scared, or not able to be able to want to even commit to making themselves better, to change their education level, whatever it is to take, to make them a better person. And me not wanting to change who I am and not wanting to change who they are, because it's choice. Life is choice, and that they have to make their own choice like I made my own choice. And that's why sometimes I'm the reason why, and I accept it. And I say, well, you're not the person for me.
You're watching The Hype, TV for, by, and about young women on Comcast Channel 66, Philly Cam.
It's time for the Hype Scenario, where actors play out real-life situations and you get advice from the staff of CLA.
Today, we'll be focusing on the three main forms of communication: assertive, aggressive, and passive. Passive communication is not having enough attitude.
Hey Tony, what's up? How you doing?
Hey girl, what's up?
Oh my goodness, thank you so much for this dress. Oh my goodness, the party was so awesome. Thank you so much for it. I got a little stain on it, but I didn't have time to clean it, so.
You do?
But thank you though, thank you.
It's not the way. Aggressive communication is having too much attitude.
I was having fun, so I got a little stain on it, but I didn't have time to clean it, so I just thought you could take care of that, because I know
I'm sorry, did you just say you got a stain on my dress?
Yeah, I got a stain on it.
The dress that I let you borrow?
Yeah.
You got a stain on it.
That's what I said.
That's what you're gonna do. You're gonna turn around, you're gonna go get it cleaned.
I'm not gonna do anything.
Assertive communication is having the right attitude.
I let you borrow the dress, right? And we had like an understanding before that if I was giving it to you, then you would give it back to me in the same condition. So I'm just saying, like, if you find some time within this week, you don't have to do it right now, to go to the dry cleaners and get it clean, because I know you've seen that dress right there, and I know you're gonna want to borrow it again, right?
I want to borrow it.
If you want to borrow it.
Here at CLA, we like to stress using assertive communication. Why do you ask? For most of us, it's very difficult to adjust to using assertive communication without elevating to being aggressive. However, using assertive communication gets better results with less issues. I'm Benita. Thank you for watching.
If you're an African American girl between the ages of 14 and 18 and you'd like to participate in our workshops, please visit our website on the screen.
I just want to ask a question.
We would like to thank our DJ 007 and our special guests, Aja and Ursula. If you would like to know more about our show or learn about how to become a studio audience, you can join us on CLAphilly.com. You could also join us to find out about our monthly lifestyles workshop. Please visit us also on CLAphilly.com. I am Jessica Charles, and for Latoya, Courtney, and the whole Hype team, thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.
Everybody, let me tell you that it makes you beautiful. Beautiful. So beautiful. God makes you beautiful. Beautiful. Hey there, excuse me, miss. No disrespect, you're very precious. Please tell me what's your name. You're a precious gem and God's to blame. No, I'm not trying to spit game, cause it's your soul I'm trying to claim. You probably never heard of this. A love affair without a kiss all the time.